Hey, I'm Chris, and this is my EVGA GeForce GTX 980 Classified Vanilla, not TI. So, what we're going to talk about on this video is the difference between playable and, how do you even say it? The difference between is it playable and I guess ideal. An ideal experience versus a playable experience. Now, everybody has a different opinion on this. This is again another one of those videos I think that could be contentious. I do not see quality differences the way I used to. I own a 4090. At the time I bought my 4090, it was 3 years ago. I was not into this GPU testing thing, playing around with old hardware, stuff like that. I actually I've played with more hardware in the past 2 years than I did the entire 20 years before that. And I don't see the quality difference between, say, Cyberpunk 2077 on this versus like the difference on my my 4090. I don't see it anymore. I enjoy gaming on this as much as I do on my 4090, honestly. For me, I'm not going to say it's all about the story. There is more to it than that for me. Oh, look, it has a little, it has an OC button. Nice. I should try that. Sometimes when I'm just holding these things and kind of turning them over in my hand, I'll notice features and stuff that I didn't even know that they had, or I'll notice like a peel sticker that I didn't know was still there. Anyway, but I'm finding that for me, in most cases, it depends on the game. Cyberpunk 2077 or, for example, Star Wars Jedi Survivor are two games that I find look perfectly fine at low frame rate. Now, usually I want to be slightly north of 30 at the lowest, like say like 35-ish. Achieved through standard rendering, not frame gen, not upscaling. Maybe upscaling, but definitely not frame gen. It depends on the resolution and a few other factors. But I'm finding, generally speaking, most games I'm seeing lately, if you can run at a solid 30 FPS. Now, I want to make this very clear before I get attacked on this. Most people, when they think of 30 FPS, they think of slow, jerky, blurred, that kind of thing. My experience is that that is not because of 30 FPS. What that really is, and if somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, not if you don't really know what you're talking about though, but my experience is that what that really means is that you're not actually running at 30. Like maybe it's at 30 enough that your frame rate counter shows 30 most of the time. But my experience is if you actually have a system that can run just a solid straight 30, 35, you want a little bit of overhead because it's going to be pretty rare that you have a system that's able to straight up hold 30. It's something I tend to see when you put, I think, a CPU that's quite a bit more powerful than the GPU is capable of utilizing. So you're able to milk every bit of performance out of this thing possible, and then you can get kind of a more steady performance out of it. That's kind of what I think it is. But if you can actually hold that solid 30 and not be dropping, because that's the thing. When you see it look just what most people would describe as it looks like garbage, my opinion is what you're really seeing is going down. Like you're at 30 and then suddenly you're down at 18, then you're back up at maybe 42, then you're back to 30, and then you're down to 12 or 10 or 9, and then you're back up to 33, and then you're all over the place. And so it makes it look bad. Whereas if you actually have 30 FPS, you're actually running at 30 FPS, it doesn't look bad. Now, is that ideal? Not really. Ideal would be 60. Now, my general opinion is anything over 1080p 60 is a luxury, in my opinion. 1080p 60 is probably the ideal. And it depends on the monitor too. Some monitors, sometimes you'll have a 1440 that'll look better than another 1440 stretch. There's a few factors to it, but baseline is, in my opinion, 30 like 35 FPS, regardless of what resolution you're at. 4K, 1080, 1440, whatever, around 35 FPS. Now, as I was just saying, I'm not saying that that's ideal. I mean, see, the reason why I hate this saying it's not good enough is because, okay, so my 4090 can hit, my 4090 can hit 4K 120 in even a game like Cyberpunk if you use the right settings. So then that's not good enough. Oh, we need 6K. Oh, you can get a 6K monitor now. I guarantee you, probably within, I don't know, I bet within a year or so, you're going to start seeing, say, 6K monitors that run like high frame rate. Right now, they're 60, but you're going to start seeing those suckers going, probably 120 would be my guess as to where 120 or 144, like a 144 hertz 6K, like a 144 6K 32. I'd buy that monitor if it wasn't $5,000. I'd buy that monitor in IPS form. Hell yeah, I'd take that monitor. But then the question is going to be, oh well, your 4K 120 is not good enough. Oh no, you got to have 6K 120, and that'll be the ideal experience. Like, you can take that all day. You can play that all day. Well, you can play that game all day long. But I have gamed recently on high-end 1080p monitors, and after running these games on a high-end 1080p monitor, my opinion is 1080p on a 27-inch monitor running 60 hertz or better, that is ideal. Anything better than that is a luxury, and not dropping below 30 at whatever resolution you're at is minimal experience. There was a time when if you couldn't afford, whatever the top end class GPU was, you went out and you bought 1 or 2 tiers down. You lowered your settings a couple tiers. You lowered your resolution a tier. Maybe you got a slightly smaller monitor, and you had fun. Now it's like it's just a constant whine fest, and it's Big Green, evil Big Green. It's game developers. It's X, it's Y, it's Z. There's a million factors. But at the end of the day, you can either choose to have fun on the experience that you have, or you can choose to be constantly unhappy and think that the experience you have is not good enough. That is entirely up to you. And so I guess I hope that this helps, especially those of you that are running older hardware, not feel like there's anything wrong with that. Like, you see these big YouTubers and they talk about how, oh yeah, that piece of hardware is getting long in the tooth, and they'll be talking about some piece of hardware that most of you guys think is insane high-end hardware still. And like, no, this is still good hardware. It still does what it in fact, this hardware, the experience it provides, this GPU provides a better experience today than it did when it was released in 2014 through driver updates, software enhancements, and upscaling and frame gen. So anyway, that's my take on it. Make of it as you will. Attack me as you will. Tell me I'm not elitist enough, but that's my opinion. So thanks for watching.